We gathered all the papers. We read our eyeballs out. We synthesized all the news just for you. Hello there, it's Jose Hong here, and welcome to the show where I explain the news. Now, this week we're going to be talking about the migrant crisis which has swept across our headlines like
a swarm of people coming across the Mediterranean.
Yes, thank you, David. In any case, now there's been enough coverage on why the refugees are coming now and where they originate from, but really there's not enough broad discussion on, why there's so much opposition to them, at least here in Europe. So this short series starting today will be focusing on the economic, the sociocultural, the legitimacy, the effectiveness, and the larger historical and moral aspects of this whole situation. And this video today will be focusing only on one aspect, which will be the economic aspect, because oh boy, there was so much information and data to synthesize. And now this is our first true video, so it ain't perfect, that's for sure. So please comment below and let us know what we did right, what we did wrong, and how we can improve for the next videos coming your way. Because if we don't, somebody from Bulgaria will be having our jobs next week and we'll be doing it for less. Wait, this is on. Oh shit. So on to economical concerns. It is often pointed out by authoritative and cultured publications that the net economic effects of accepting immigrants and by extension refugees is positive. The Financial Times is a very typical example of this. It points out in a report that according to the ratings agency Standard & Poor's, there could be overall a positive impact on growth in European countries that accept refugees, that grant them asylum, which could alleviate the looming economic and fiscal challenges that adverse demographic trends will bring. In other words, that will counteract an aging population. Now, because Financial Times readers have a different capacity to respond than most other audiences, they have the ability to just talk about the long-term effects. And although these publications are generally backed up by reliable sources, such as the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, try saying that really fast 4 times, and Eurostat, the long-term benefits are just that, long-term benefits. Now, there aren't that many publications which say that refugees are bad for the economy, but they do exist. The Daily Express is one of them, and its political commentator Ross Clark actually explains how and why refugees are bad for the British economy, but I'll let him say it in his own words.
Over the next 20 years, the state retirement age will rise from 65 to 68, extending millions of working lives. There are huge numbers of migrants, on the other hand, who are far from a net asset to the economy.
Now, throughout his article, he raises fears that these people will not work and that they will claim benefits even when they're overseas, and for their children too. And these are fears, these are legitimate fears. The problem is that, he does not back them up. I guess we should take his word for it, because he must be a very smart man. Now, on the other side, in terms of opinion and of fact-checking, we have the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post bears the hallmarks of the Financial Times by saying that we need to have proper integration policies in order to reap the economic benefits of this mass movement of people. It goes further than that, however. It uses facts from the OECD and shows the reader, compares how the differing integration and immigration policies of differing countries have resulted in differing economic circumstances. But why am I doing all the talking? Let me let Jonathan Portes, the writer of the piece in question, speak for himself.
Recent OECD research makes this point. Some European economies and societies are far more successful than others in integrating immigrants into their labour markets. While in the UK, immigrants are only marginally...
Finley, it's not the same guy. Could you please use a different voice?
Not for free. What voice do you want? Recent OECD research makes this point. Some European economies and societies are far more successful than others in integrating immigrants into their labour markets. While in the UK, immigrants are only marginally more likely to be unemployed than natives, in Spain, Greece, Belgium and Sweden, there is a gap of 10 percentage points or more.
So it seems quite clear. Refugees should economically benefit their host countries, but only if integration policies are well planned out and executed. But let's stop here and move from the United Kingdom to the country that is arguably experiencing the largest crisis, Germany. From our research, we have found out that the German papers are overwhelmingly focusing on the humanitarian rather than the economic aspects of the refugee crisis. And in fact, the most economic argument we could find came from the center-right paper Frankfurter Allgemeine, which stated in a commentary piece that if it were truly security that the displaced were seeking, they should have been happy to stay in the stable Balkan states they crossed on their way to Central and Northern Europe. I mean, all problems are best dealt with when they become someone else's, right? Now here's the interesting bit. The economic focus wasn't on whether these people would bring any economic benefit to their host country, but whether or not they were going there for economical reasons. And in fact, going back to the Daily Express, that's what the more conservative papers are doing. They're actually referring to these people as migrants rather than refugees. Nowhere at all in this editorial piece by Ross Clark is the word refugee mentioned. It is all migrants. It is similar if you read other publications which go towards conservative, like The Telegraph or The Daily Mail. In fact, if you were to read an editorial in The Telegraph, it will tell you that even if those who state the migration has been good for the UK are right, even if they were right all along, they are making a post hoc virtue out of something that was never intended. In other words, it doesn't matter. So what do these publications care about more? Take a look at this particular Daily Mail headline. The important bit is here, that we are being lied to. In other words, are these legitimate refugees? Also take a look at this other headline. Gangs of men, young German women being told to cover up. It sounds like a bad case of social-cultural clash to me. So, legitimacy and social-cultural clash. These are the subjects of our next video. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching to the end. Now, as you said before, this is our very first video, so there is massive room for improvement. So please, leave a comment, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. There is a Google Docs in the video description, so you can fill that in and send it to us. Send an email to us, and we will respond to you. And there is also a list of all the sources that we used, so you can click on that in the video description, and it will bring you there. And if you know, you can fact check us for yourself. And if you find something that you would like to tell us, let us know. This is after all about that conversation. So until next time, see ya.